Ladies and gentlemen, you know, many of you heard about the three American firefighters that died in a plane crash trying to help put out the blazes that are going on in Australia. Well, this article came out January 24th, 2020 in Newsweek. Where are the fires still burning in Australia? Map shows nearly 100 blazes in New South Wales, Victoria. And ladies and gentlemen, they just recovered those bodies of those firefighters not that long ago. So as people mourn the loss of three firefighters in Australia, others in the country continue to battle wildfires in New South Wales and Victoria. Firefighters have been battling wildfires in Australia for months as a prolonged drought, hot temperatures, and strong winds created ideal conditions for flames to spread. Fires have claimed at least 31 lives, destroyed thousands of homes, and burned more than 27 million acres of land, twice the size of Maryland. That is outrageous. Wow. On Saturday morning local time, 62 brush and grass fires were burning in New South Wales, a state on the southeastern side of Australia, according to the NSW Rural Fire Service. They were all listed as advice alert level fires, meaning there was no immediate danger. Residents in impacted areas were encouraged to remain informed of the situation in case it changed. So you can see on this map right here all of the areas that are impacted. Wow. That's absolutely insane. 27 million acres burnt. I just can't even comprehend that. That is just outrageous, y'all. 27 million acres burnt? Whew, man. And they already know they're not going to put this thing out anytime soon. They already said it's going to go on for months, even into 2020. As crews battle the flames, there's also mourning the loss of three crew members who were killed on Thursday local time when their air tanker crashed. The victims were identified as Americans: Captain Ian H. Macbeth, First Officer Paul Clyde Hudson, and Flight Engineer Rick A. DeMorgan Jr., who had gone to Australia to assist in fighting the fires. Wow. Oh, wow. So it just talks about the premier flying the flags at half mast, for the deceased firefighters from America. The premier also announced that a state memorial would be held for the firefighters on February 23rd. Okay, so they're just trying to honor them, I guess, because they did go all the way over there to help. Further south in the state of Victoria, 37 brush fires were burning on Saturday morning local time, according to Vic Emergency. People who were visiting Malakuta, Genoa, Gipsy Point had to leave because the fires, but will be able to retrieve their belongings over the weekend. Drivers were told to expect to wait up to an hour, and travel would only be allowed in one direction. Wow. I mean, just looking at this map, this is just mind-boggling where all of the fires are. Now, you can imagine 100 of these fires all burning at the same time. Given the magnitude of the fires, American firefighters began arriving in Australia to assist firefighting efforts in December. They've continued to make the trip, and the most recent crew arrived in Australia on Friday morning local time. So they got some more American firefighters there. We are grateful for the arrival of U.S. Fire Task Force personnel this week. Australia is a large country, and while we have seen generous rainfall in the past few days, in some areas, we are still experiencing kilometers of active fire front and a large cleanup ahead of us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, usually what will happen after these major fires are mudslides. As soon as they do get a good rain there, they're going to be dealing with mudslides. And a lot of times, what was not damaged from the fire will be damaged when the mudslide happens. So you can expect even more homes to be taken out because the ground is going to be so saturated from all of the constant dousing of water and all kinds of retardants and everything in that water constantly hitting the ground. And then when the rain makes contact with the ground, it just creates an even worse situation for them. So they are nowhere out of the woods when it comes down to the natural disaster that's going on there. Okay. Australia. Okay, let me just go down a little more. Okay, we're halfway through the summer, and there are still challenges ahead for us this season. Crews will be responsible for on the ground fire suppressant. So they already got their military on the ground fighting the fire. And you can see with all of the people they got fighting this thing, it's not going anywhere. Um, Filing fire management roles, according to the Department of Interior Director of the Office of Wildland Fire, Jeff Rupert. So, wow. Over 100 fires are still raging. Man, you know how you just look at a situation and you just know when this thing is finally over, Australia is never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same, y'all. You know, how do you put people back in these areas now? And you would think that a lot of these folks were in houses. Many of them were in trailers living out there. You know, they weren't even in houses at all or apartments. They were in trailers. It was a lot of them. And as you can see, whole areas are getting wiped out by this thing. I mean, I think this is definitely by far the worst I've ever seen. And I've seen some bad ones. Some of y'all might remember when Alberta, Canada burnt the entire town, several towns burnt. And I believe that was like 2016 because I did videos on that. And I thought that was horrific when Alberta was on fire. So much of it, I mean, towns, and it was hardly nothing left. And then we seen all of the California fires. The California fires have been fierce too. And then we saw Paradise get wiped out, the entire town wiped out by the fire. And people are still trying to live there. And the last I read, it probably was like a year ago, they said the water is badly contaminated there. So those residents that are there, they're using a lot of bottled water. They can't use that tap water. The tap water is contaminated. So, you know, many of those folks, they're not going to have a choice but to relocate when reality finally sets in. And then, wow, just when you thought you seen the worst of the worst, then this Australia fire happens, and it shows you that the Most High can make a fire at any magnitude that he wants. Unimaginable sizes of fire, like we're seeing here in Australia. And they know they're not going to be able to put this thing out anytime soon, y'all. They already know. But please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.